Stop scrolling. Entire city blocks shut down. Police completely overrun. What you're looking at isn't a movie. It's a modern American city losing total control. But who is actually to blame? Wait, did you catch that? Look at the sheer volume of kids just flooding the intersection, completely ignoring the officers right in front of them. The police are vastly outnumbered, standing there with their hands tied because of city policies. When you have hundreds of teenagers moving as a mob like this, the usual rules of society just evaporate. It's a phenomenon called a teen takeover, and it's becoming the absolute new normal in major metro areas. But here's the craziest part. Local leaders recently voted down laws that would explicitly fine the parents of these kids. Think about that for a second. The streets are pure chaos. Businesses are locking their doors in sheer panic. Citizens are terrified to walk outside. And the city council decides that holding parents financially accountable for their children's actions is somehow unfair. We are watching the real-time collapse of basic accountability. If there are no consequences for the kids and zero consequences for the parents who let them roam the streets at midnight, what exactly is the incentive to stop? It's a perfect storm of bad parenting and worse politics, leaving everyday residents to pay the ultimate price. Look at how fast this escalates. 1 second, they are just grouped up, and the next, it's a full-on stampede through the downtown corridor. Notice the body language. There's absolutely no fear of getting caught, no hesitation whatsoever. It's pure adrenaline mixed with a total lack of boundaries. The city tries to treat this as a lack of community spaces or underfunded youth programs, but let's be real for a minute. When kids are sprinting down the middle of a busy avenue, jumping on cars, and openly taunting law enforcement, a new community center isn't going to magically fix the problem. This comes down to the home environment. If you don't enforce discipline under your own roof, your kids are going to seek boundaries out in the real world, and usually they find them the hard way. But instead of supporting the police or demanding parents step up to the plate, politicians are actively making excuses. They constantly label these kids as vulnerable to avoid addressing the cultural decay happening right in front of our eyes. When you constantly save people from the consequences of their own actions, you handicap an entire generation. Pay close attention to the background right here. The sheer scale of this crowd is absolutely staggering. They are completely taking over the sidewalks, spilling into the busy roads, and forcing normal traffic to a dead stop. You have to ask yourself, where are the parents? It is late at night in the middle of a major city, and hundreds of minors are just roaming without a single adult chaperone in sight. The mayor actually claimed that increasing penalties for this behavior would criminalize the community. But what about the innocent people just trying to drive home from a long shift at work? What about the local shop owners? They are the ones being punished by this total inaction. It's a completely backward way of governing a society. By refusing to apply a basic fine to the guardians of these kids, the city is essentially subsidizing the chaos. They are sending a very clear, undeniable message. Do whatever you want, tear up the streets, we won't hold your family responsible. And when leadership abandons accountability, the community fractures entirely. Look at the entrance of that building. You can clearly see innocent bystanders and gym goers just trying to go about their evening, completely trapped by this aggressive flash mob. The sheer disrespect for public spaces is mind-blowing. And remember, the legislation that was struck down wasn't even that extreme. It was a simple $1,000 fine and mandatory family counseling for parents who knowingly let their kids participate in these riots. Family counseling. And the city council still aggressively voted it down. They called it punitive and claimed it wouldn't make the streets safer. But doing absolutely nothing is working out so perfectly well, right? When politicians prioritize virtue signaling over public safety, the entire social contract breaks down. We have to start asking the hard, uncomfortable questions about culture and responsibility. If the community won't police itself and the elected officials refuse to enforce the law, who is left to protect the city? It's a tragic cycle. These kids need strong leaders and firm boundaries, but instead they are getting political enablers who would rather watch the city burn. Look at how this entire street is essentially held hostage. Cars are blocked, commerce stops, and emergency vehicles wouldn't even stand a chance of getting through this density. This is what happens when you treat the symptoms instead of the root cause. The root cause isn't a lack of funding. It's a massive failure of the family unit and a local government that acts as an enabler. If you never let a child face stress, fail, or learn from a severe mistake, you strip them of the tools they need to become functioning adults. By actively shielding parents from a simple fine, the local government is essentially telling these kids that their destructive behavior is totally acceptable. It's creating a culture of zero consequences, and honestly, it feels like political malpractice. If leaders actually cared about the future of these teenagers, they would hold the adults in their lives to a much higher standard. Instead, they choose the easy way out. They protect their political image, while the actual residents of the city are forced to navigate a literal war zone just to buy groceries. What do you think it will take to actually stop this? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit subscribe if you want the truth the news won't show you.